Hey guys, Eric and Roth here in our fancy new studio in the LA office.
We have a studio.
We have a studio. It's amazing. Olympic dreams do come true.
I know.
We are going to talk about The Walking Dead.
Usually not for us.
Not for us. We're going to talk about The Walking Dead, though. Last night's episode was a big one. It was the return of the governor, live bait. There was a lot here about the governor and a potential redemption for the governor. That was kind of the theme of the whole episode. So, Roth, my question here is, can the governor be redeemed, and does he deserve to be redeemed? Is this something you want to see happen?
It was something that I wanted to see happen. It's funny because in all of the interviews that we did building up to this season, that was something that I brought up with the producers. And yeah, I mean, I did want them to make that attempt. I think when it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
When you've got a character that's gone as far as he has, and maybe he can't be redeemed, and maybe that's actually an interesting story to tell.
Right.
You know? Maybe he can't be. A redemption story doesn't mean it has to be successful, you know?
Yeah.
But what I wasn't certain of, and I have really mixed feelings about this episode, I did a lengthy, as you guys know, review. I want to know what everyone else thought, because I had very mixed feelings. I was emailing Eric at like every 5 minutes, like, what do you think? What do you think? Because I just had such mixed feelings.
Yeah, you know, I feel like I don't want to say the character, you know, you cannot do a redemption story for him, because I think once they brought him back, if he didn't die last season, then you don't want to hit the same note with him, right? It can't just be like, and now he does something else horrible. So yes, it can be interesting to sort of take that redemption path. I didn't think this episode was that successful in doing that, mostly because it was asking too much at once. It was very strange to go from literally the last thing we saw him do was mow down a bunch of innocent people, just shoot and kill people who were following him.
His pawns.
His pawns, yes. And then instantly go into sad music playing as he walks, and instantly you kind of knew we're not supposed to feel bad for him in some way. And I thought it was asking too much too quickly. I almost wish we'd seen the governor. Everything that happened in this episode had happened for several episodes, just cut to him, because it wanted you so quickly to go into, now he's helping this family and he's going to stick with them and he's found a new daughter substitute. So I don't know if they did it successfully here, but we've now that we've gone through that window, we can't go back from that. I guess I am curious to see, will he stick with it? As you said, will it be a successful redemption, or will something happen and he'll just revert to the guy that we already know?
It's interesting, too, because I said the same thing. I thought, whoa, this is one episode, one and done. And I kind of thought, what were the conversations like where they decided to do it as one episode rather than doing it? And there were some people in the comments that really felt like, no, spreading it out 6 minutes at a time would have felt kind of plotting. It would have just taken away from these other storylines. I thought last week's episode was great and very focused. And I wouldn't have wanted it interrupted by cutting back to what's the governor doing now. Yeah. I don't really know what the solution is, but I do ultimately feel like, yeah, this was a lot to try and swallow at once. If we had had a longer period of time, if we had really seen him come to grips with what he'd done, then meet them, and not be sure if he was going to harm them or not, even in certain moments. There was that one little moment, you know, where he says, don't throw that gun at me, where I saw a little bit of the governor. Felt like we needed that. We needed to not know that he was stable and a good guy now. It needed to be more of a question.
I mean, it almost felt like maybe he should have met someone else first, where he kind of screws up a little bit more, because they almost acted like, you know, again, bringing up the fact that he just killed all those people. You'd almost think that what he did is maybe like leave some people to die or something that was horrible, but not as horrible. But we've seen this guy as a pretty psychotic, just mass murderer at this point. So yeah, just to have that quick shift and no real transition along the way, except for a montage with a sad song, I thought, yeah, it felt pretty clunky to me. But I will say David Morrissey, great actor, did a hell of a lot to help sell. He's being asked a lot here because he has to sell a guy who has some amazing contradictions. But at least his performance, I thought, was really strong and did help me. Once I kind of had to be like, all right, I guess this is where they're going, except that he's going to give a very good performance in showing this new side of the governor. Yeah,
David Morrissey, I think, is really one of the best actors on the show. I would love to see him have his own series. Some people are speculating about the spinoff. I don't know that it's that. But I do think he can carry a series. I do think, I mean, I feel engaged with him. I feel like he makes really smart, very subtle choices as an actor that do sell sort of the material. But, sort of, what that is. It's the material. But at the same time, I mean, I guess what I wanted for this character, and I don't want to bring up Game of Thrones, but Jaime Lannister, who the first thing that we saw him do was shove a little boy out of a window, you're able to over time, but it takes time. Years to sort of come to see another side to him. And even then, it's not like now he's good. He's just complex. He's just more than you thought he was.
Right.
And maybe you like him, maybe you relate to him. Because you like to throw little boys out of windows.
I love to. It's just really my favorite thing. Lastly, I'll ask you, what do you think the governor is doing at the prison? Now that we've seen this episode that did not catch us up, it kind of, I'm guessing, halfway there as far as what his journey is. So by the time he gets to that prison, what do you think? Does he want revenge, or does he need help? Or is he wants to give his new family a place to live, and maybe he thinks, I'll leave them here, they won't take me in. What do you think he's doing at that prison?
I'm of two minds about it, because there's a part of me that thinks maybe he's really there for help. But at this point, if he's going there for help, he's really delusional, because they're going to kill him immediately. I mean, there's no way Michonne is letting this man live. No way. And he's not going to let her live. No, I won't buy that. I won't buy that. And not after what happened with Penny. But what else could he be doing? You know what I mean? Right. Unless it's to go get weapons or do something. They've taken the little girl, Martinez has. I don't know, but I think it's possible, highly possible, that he's there to get help. I will say that I did like a lot of aspects of this episode. I just had mixed feelings about it, but I thought there was a lot that it did well. Yeah,
I think he's there for a prank war. That he wants to start like a big funny back and forth, kind of like a summer camp shenanigans. That's my theory. We'll see.
I suck. Your answer's so much better than mine.
Let us know. What do you think? Can the governor be redeemed? Do you want to see him redeemed? Do you think this episode moved too quickly or was just right? Let us know in the comments, and we'll be talking more Walking Dead as the season continues. Thanks, guys.